My name's Takmir Noan, and I am making a tutorial for brave new bros to learn how to do a very basic PI that's extremely passive, only requires about 5 minutes of effort every 3 days, plus picking up your goods whenever it's time to haul to market. You can expect to make around 400 to 500 million ISK every month per character you're doing it with. So on a single account, you could feasibly make between 1.3 to 1.5 billion, and that's with buy orders. If you wanted to actually wrestle with sell orders, you could get even more. There's several ways to do PI. Probably the most common way, or I mean, the three ways I know to do PI are to you have like 4 different planets that you gather different products on, and then you haul them to a 5th planet where you assemble them into high-end P3, P4 products, like making nanite paste or something. Another method that involves, a lot of hauling and logistics as well, is to have several factory planets set up, where you take a barren or a temperate planet and you just dump a ton of advanced factories. You haul in P2 product, drop it on, reassemble it into P3, P4, and then haul that back. All of those require a lot of logistics, a lot of hauling, and you need to tend to the things a lot. What I'm going to do is extract 2 P0 products from the same planet. I'm going to move those into a launch pad, which will then send them out to a 2 sets of 2 basic processors to make it into P1 product, which will go back into the launch pad. Then that will go into 2 advanced processors, which will go back to the launch pad for the final product. So I'm going to extract P0 and process it up to P2 on a single planet. So I only have to extract it off or export it off the planet once to be done with the cycle. It's possible to run your extractors for about 3 days before you have to reset them this way. So for those of you who know how to do PI, I'm just going to give you a quick look at what my setup looks like, because you won't really need anything else. So this would be my standard setup. You'll see I have a launch pad, 4 basic processors, and 2 advanced processors. And then there's 1 extractor for each product. So 2 extractors. They're using 3 heads each. That's getting me to 12,000 an hour. It's possible to fit 11 to 12 extractors with my setup. So heads. So I could honestly, I could add 2 more heads to each one of these and I still wouldn't be at my power grid limit. So anyways, that is what my total setup looks like. If you know how to do PI, you're done. If you don't know how to do PI, then let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty of how to do this. There's a couple things you're going to need. You're going to want your PI skills, all the stuff under planetary interaction. You're going to want those to 4. You can train them to 5 if you want. Time you're ready to train to 5, you really don't need my advice anymore. That'll allow you to do 5 planets and to fit everything I'm wanting to do and have the scanning accuracy, etc. It takes about 2 weeks to train it, maybe a hair over that. You'll need a command center for each type of planet you're going to do. We're going to be doing a lava planet for this one. So I have a lava command center, and you need something to haul it in. I'm just using a little paper thin bestower. You only need to be in space to plant your command center and to go pick up your goods from the player-owned corporate stations. You don't need to be in space to actually manage your systems. So I guess the next question is, how do you determine what kind of planet to use? This is a pretty simple one for me. Because I'm not doing anything special, I'm mostly looking at how far I can make my links reach. Each planet can produce a decent P2 product that you'll be able to sell. So I just avoid gas planets. Gas planets have very large radiuses. If you look here, this one's 19,000 kilometers in radius. So that's going to make your grids be very, very large for the links that link your extractors to the rest of your stuff. So the lava planet here is the one I'm going to go with, and as long as this one's 4,320 kilometers. As long as you're under, I would say 12,000 kilometers, usually 10 to 12,000 is about my limit of what I like to fit. And you need to try and keep your extractors not too far from the launch pad if you're going to do that. But anyways, ideally I want like 5,000, 6,000 and down. So this is going to be a great planet. So all I need to do here, I need to undock. I have my command center in. So I'm going to undock from the Fortizar I'm in. I'm going to stop my ship as soon as I get out, just in case there's bad guys out here. I haven't really been doing any intel. I'm not in any fleet channels, but it looks pretty safe. Okay, so I've stopped my ship. Go to my active ship. You can see there's my thing. All I'm going to do is right click this planet and choose view in planet mode. Here's my planet. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to take a command center and I'm just going to drop it right here. I'll click on it and upgrade it. That's the highest I can upgrade. I'm going to close this. I don't need it anymore. And then I'm going to hit submit. And that's it. I'm done. It cost $4 million. Be about another $2 million to do my setup. So it's about $6 million for every planet. And then after that, it's $100,000 every month or so if you need to move your extractors. So I'm going to go ahead and dock back up because I no longer need to be in space.
Docking request accepted.
And we're all docked back up. I'm just going to make sure we're safe. Exit planet mode. Okay, so here in planetary colonies, which you can get through your Neocom business planetary colonies, you can see that's my one that's already set up. Here's the one that I just placed. It only has the command center down. So I'm going to click on that. Takes me to command center. I really don't care where the command center is. It does not need to be linked to the rest of my structures. And I'm using a launch pad to move my goods, so I really don't need the command center. What I do need to know is what I'm going to make now, because that's the big question. I can look at my scan, and when you first open up your scan, it's going to look like this. Let me just pick a good. So they're going to be really, really wide and vague because I'm saying show me this color span. So if you narrow it down to where white is showing a very, very small concentration, I can then get a very accurate picture of where my best resources are. So you'll always want to make that as small as possible. But I need to figure out what's good to build here. I use an application called Eve Planetary Planner. It's very handy, and it does a lot of different things, allowing you to plan out your fits. You can find systems that contain certain numbers of planets around you. Like if you're looking for plasma planets, it can tell you where they are. I'm using it for one simple purpose, reverse lookup. So I'm using a lava planet, and I'm making a P2 product. I want to know the prices in JITA, so that'd be the forge. And there you go. This is my list of what I can make and what it goes for. So I can just double click any of these. See, construction blocks takes base metal and heavy metal. Now I can see I have a very good supply of heavy metal. Base metal is going to be my secondaries. That's not bad. Really, anything with heavy metal and non-CS crystals would be good. So then I'm looking for what has the best secondary. So I'm going to go back here and check consumer electronics. That's heavy metal and non-CS crystals. So that's going to use two of the things that this planet is loaded with. So I'm not even going to look anymore. We're going to go with consumer electronics. So I'm going to move that off. So now I know what I'm making. So the next thing I do is figure out where I'm going to place my launch pads and where my extractors are going to go. So I need to find my two sources of goods. So first let's look for heavy metals. And the way you do this is you just kind of expand out till you find there's a nice concentration there, that little white dot. That's going to be the highest concentration so far. And then I'm just going to check the rest of the planet to see if I can do better. And no, that is the strongest spot on the planet. All right, we found that one pretty quick. That's nice. So what I do here, this is just kind of my thing. I like to go to build and not processor. I make a storage facility. I have no intention of keeping this. It's just a placeholder to mark it on the map where it was while I go find my other product. I'll end up deleting it before I hit submit, so it won't cost me a thing. Now I need to know where a good source of non-CS crystals is. So if I expand these until, okay, now there's a little white spot up there, so that might be a good spot. See if it, oh, that's a really bright white spot. There's kind of a dimmer one. There's another really bright white spot. Let's see just how good we can do here. So that's a pretty good spot. Anything better? Oh yeah, that's definitely better. And so what I do is I just increase the minimum required to show white, and that gives me an idea of what I'm working with. So I do think that's my strongest spot at this point. That's pretty good. So what I need to do is figure out what I did with my other planet. So let's look at the heavy metals. And is that where my little thing is? Nope. I lost it. Even though I put a placeholder down, I lost where I put it. So I need to find, there it is. Okay, so it's right there, and I think the other one was over there. So let's see. If I go non-CS crystals. How far was it? That is a pretty long stretch, but I'm confident we can make this work. So I'm going to build a storage facility right here, because the planet's not that big. and then I hold Control and click it, and then let go. And this is to build a route. To there. So that is linking them. Now I don't intend to keep that, and it's spanning almost half the planet. It's a pretty big link. It's probably about as far as I would go. I could try and find something closer, but I want to show that you can span pretty far and still be fine. So I now know my two products I'm going to build. So next I need to go ahead and get building on getting everything in place. So the first thing I'm going to build is my spaceport, and I'm going to stick it right there in the middle. Then I'm going to take and put two basic processors, one on each side. They don't need to be like perfectly close because you're going to run your pipeline right through them anyway. And I mostly do this so I can remember that the basic ones are the ones that are heading towards the extractors because they look just like the advanced ones. Like so. Okay. Each one of them will be processing the goods on their side. Then I need to put down some advanced ones, and I'm just going to put two right below it here, like so. The last thing I need is extractor control units, which are going to actually extract my goods. Now, the material that I'm extracting is going to drift. So I could put it here to save as much power grid as possible to shorten the link. But I'm going to do about half of its radius so that that can drift a ways before I run out of space, before I lose it and have to move my extractor. Because these materials will always drift. So we go there, and about half the radius, we'll put it about there. Now, I can delete these two storage containers that I don't need anymore. That one, delete. Okay, and now I need to link all these up. So I control click and then I let go, and I click right there. Control click, let go, click, control click, let go, click, control click, let go, click, control click, let go, click. I need to get the advanced ones added as well. And then one last control, let go, and let's scroll my map over here to my other extractor and click. Okay, so now I have the layout done. This is how much, and it's going to cost me 1.7 million. So yeah, about 6 million for the whole setup. So I'm going to hit submit. That builds them all, and now it's time to start setting up the planet. So we'll start here with my extractor, and I need to put in a program to tell it how much to dig. So I want a 3-day cycle. Oh, I got that just about perfect. It's right before the A. So that's 3-day cycle. The reason I do 3 is I'll be able to use around 10 extractor heads, 10 to 11. And as long as I can do this with 4 for each one, when they drift or if it's a little low on resources, I can add one more and stay in there, and I'll like with 5, I'll always be able to get 12,000 per hour, which is the minimum you need for your program in order to do this. See, non-CS crystals. No, I think this was heavy metals over here. Yeah, I think it was heavy metals. Scan. Just drop that. Yeah, that's what it was. So this is my heavy metals. So for my heavy metals, I'm going to drop one. If you try a 4-day cycle, you will not make it. You will have to. You probably it'll get close to where you can't get 12,000. I'm getting almost 3,500 units for one extractor head. So 4 should do this easy. I always try and just space them around it in a triangle so that I'm not crowding that spot too much. And sometimes you'll be able to do it with 3. It just depends. But there's 11,000, 11,500. I almost said 11,500. Like an idiot. Okay, that's 11,815. Yeah, we're easily going to hit our 12 here. And 1959. 12,016 units per hour. That's perfect. You want to get as close to 12 as you can without going under. That way you're not wasting any. So I'm going to hit install program. And so now that one's ready to go. I have to hit submit before it actually starts. But now I click on the unit again and I go to its products. So I've got heavy metals. I'm going to click once because it hasn't been routed. I'm going to create a route. It wants to know where to send it. I'm going to click on the launch pad and I'm going to click create route. Now it is sending out all the materials down that pipeline, and it's going to use 35% of the pipeline. So the pipeline can hold it no problem. Now I need to set the other one up extracting. So we're going to install a program. This one will be non-CS crystals. We're going to I make it as small as possible so I know exactly where the sweet spot is. I need to set it to a 3-day cycle. And let's drop my first one down and see what I get here. 3,500. That's pretty nice. And so I'll drop 4 of them. And we'll put, I don't know, one here, and one here. Oh, we're way over 12,000, so let's tweak that. Oh, 12,002. I try to get it, if I can, to exactly what the other one was. So that one was 12.99. I would love it if I could get 12.16 on both of them. I'm feeling good about this. Whoa, that was too far. 12.16, look at that. Okay, so I got the exact same quantity, so I will have no wastage here. And then I need to go to products, and this time I'm going to double click, which says where do you want to route it, and then I'm going to double click the launchpad, which routes it, and that one's using 34.19% of the pipeline. Okay, so those are going. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. The reason I do that is so they start extracting, and now they'll be 15 minutes on their first cycle, so I can go ahead and now I've got 15 minutes to get this set up. So non-CS crystals were on the left, heavy metals were on the right. So I'm going to, anytime you're setting these up, I want to set my blueprints first. That way I can't route the wrong product to the one accident. So I'll start here. I'm going to, let me redo that again. I did that too fast. I'm going to click it once. That selects it. I need to go to a blueprint, and the blueprint I'm making is chiral structures. You can actually start typing the name to jump to it. So chiral structures, install. That jumps me to the product page. I'll click here. I'll say create route, and it says this is saying what do you want me to do with it after I've made it. I'll click on the launch pad and say create route. That's where I want it to send it. Now the fast way to do that, I'll click this one. If you double click, that takes you to blueprints. Double click the structure to install it. Double click to say I want to make a route. Double click the launch pad to send it there. So now those are both done. Now on the right, I'm bringing in heavy metals, and those are supposed to be toxic metal. So doing it the slow way, left click there. I will type TO, there's toxic metals. And then I will do install, click, create route, launchpad, create route. And I'll do the second one with double clicks. Double click to get to blueprints, TO, double click toxic metal, double click route, double click launchpad. That one's routed. The last thing I need to route then is my advanced factories or processors. So the first one, and again I'm doing top left right, top down. So the top one, the blueprint I need, we are making consumer electronics, which is right here. Install, here, create route, and I'll click on the launchpad and hit create. And no, there's not a way to make the hologram go away. You kind of just get used to them, you get good at clicking through them, etc. Or you can pan the camera around. So this one I'll double click. I'm going to select consumer electronics for my blueprint. I'm going to double click it to route, and I'm going to double click the launchpad to send it there. Okay, so now everything's been built. The only thing left to do, these have their blueprints. They are sending their output to the launchpad. If I click on the launchpad now, I need to have it route stuff out. So as you see on the launchpad, I have a lot of incoming. I have both of my P0s incoming. I have both of the toxic metals that are being made coming back. I have both chiral structures coming back, and I have my consumer electronic final product coming in. I need to send stuff out though. So on the left, this is where I am doing, see if I click, those are doing chiral structures. The chiral structures needs non-CS crystals. So I can go here, and on where it says non-CS crystals incoming, I'm going to click. I'll say create route, and it says where do I want to go. I'm going to click the left one, create route. You can also do this faster by double clicking. So I'm going to go down here, non-CS crystals. Make sure you click your incoming one. I will double click it. It wants to know where I want to create the route. You have to click this part or it will actually show you the product, and then I can double click where it's going. So now if I look at my routes, you can see I have incoming non-CS crystals and 2 outgoing. So now I need to route the heavy metals. So I will create route, the left one, create. I will open it up again. You'll see heavy metals, grab the incoming, create route, do the right one, create route. That's done. So now my raw materials, P0, is coming in and going out. Next I need to put my chiral structures and my toxic metals into the advanced processors. So do chiral structure, create route, the top one, create. Now you can see I've got 1 outgoing. I'm going to click on the incoming again, create route, the bottom one, create route. That one's being routed now. Then I'm going to go here one more time, and you'll see I now have 2 incoming chiral and 2 outgoing chiral. For the toxic metal, I will click create route, the top one, create, and then one more time, an incoming toxic metal, create route, the bottom one, create route. Now I can hit submit. I'm done. It has been loaded. So at this point, you can even double check. I don't even double check them anymore. You do it so many times. But my chiral structures: 2 incoming, 2 outgoing. Consumer electronics: 2 incoming. There should be no outgoing. That's my final product. Heavy metals: 1 incoming, 2 outgoing. Non-CS crystals: 1 incoming, 2 outgoing. Toxic metals: 2 incoming, 2 outgoing. I'm good to go. So now this will run for 3 days. You can see here, if I click on the extractor, it's showing me I have 2 days and 23 hours left. In 3 days, I'll need to come back. All I will have to do at that point is I'll click here, I'll go to the survey. If it's done running, it'll be waiting for me to install one. Otherwise, I'll hit stop program. I will tweak my settings to make sure that it says 12,000 or more per unit. You might have to drag them in a little bit. You might have to add one more extractor. You can run 10 to 11 extractors, so you'll be able to add an extra one if needed. And then you hit submit or start program, install program, something like that, and you hit submit. You do that for each one, then hit submit. You're done. It takes about a minute to do for each planet, so 5 minutes every day per character. If you were going to do this with 3 characters, I would just do one each day. So like character 1 on Tuesday, character 2 on Thursday, Wednesday, character 3 on Thursday, and that way you're rotating through them. So it's 5 minutes each day instead of a 15-minute chunk that it might be inconvenient. So the last thing I guess to really say is if you get in and your drift has caused your product to move far enough away from your extractor that you can no longer reach it with your extractor heads, you would go here, you would delete the extraction control unit, you would place it, so that its radius is over the thing again, and then draw a new link back to the base, and then route the product to the launch pad. All your other routes will not change, so then you can just hit save and you're done. Okay? So anyways, that's all there is to setting up PI. If I go back to my first planet and give you a look here, you can see, let's actually get to the product itself. There it is. If I go here and I look at my launch pad, this has been running for about 2 days now. And if I look at my storage, you can see I've got 425 transmitters running. I'm not even close to my capacity. And then whenever it's time, I have to step out into space to tell it to launch the product. But then I would just click the transmitters, hit launch, and it puts them up into space. And then I go to the customs office and drag them into my cargo hold. And that's all there is to it. So, yeah, that's all there is to doing this. For just a little napkin math for anyone who wants to see here, we'll call it Excel math because I'm going to use Excel. If I am getting, let's see, ISK per P2, let's say I'm getting 13,000, and I am doing 10, let's see, my P2 per hour is 10, my number of planets is 5, there's 24 hours in a day, or whoops, I guess I should put hours per day. There's 24 days per month. There's 30 average, and then we'll say for now number of characters. If you're using 1, that equals this times this times this times this times this times this equals. Well, that's pretty. Let's go ahead and format that so it's really pretty. We'll make it currency. We don't need any pennies. 468 million ISK every month for 1 character doing this. So if we have 3 characters doing it, it doesn't even fit. That's how good it is. You are looking at about 1.4 billion ISK every month. And remember, this is considering if you're selling to a buy order. However, if you are doing sell orders, you can get, instead of 13,000 average, you might get 17, 18,000 average per unit. So you can definitely increase your profit margin if you're willing to do the selling game. I am not. I am looking for easy passive income. 1.4 billion to have 3 guys on an account with 2 weeks training each. So, anyways, that's my tutorial on PI. I hope it was helpful for people that want to find an easy, cheap way, doesn't require a lot of commitment, to get a lot of ships to blow up. And 1.4 billion will buy you a whole lot of ships to blow up every day. I hope this is useful for everybody. Have a great day. Bye.